Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello. We have new voices. This is episode number 29 of Biweeklycast. We have the usual suspects. That's you.
I'm Slava Rudnitsky, and you are Dima Malenko. But our guest today
is Vita Pysarenko.
Is Viktoria.
Yes, Vita. Thanks for joining us. For those who don't know Vita, and I would imagine that maybe there are a few people who still don't know Vita. She's a senior software project manager in BMW, of all things. She has a master's degree in psychology and possesses many talents and accomplished many achievements through her career. Maybe, Vita, you want to add something to that?
I think that's already enough. Maybe through the episode we will talk more about the life and Munich and development and so on, and my additional educations and so on.
Yep.
So, but for the very beginning, I think it's enough.
Sounds
very good to start.
Sounds great. Given that that's October, still October now, right? Yeah, it might be thematic to touch on Oktoberfest in Munich, but that would not be the main topic for today. Like, right? Today we gathered to talk about. I don't know, like I put it in our notes as mega trainings, and because the reason for that would be that Vita recently attended Unleash the Power Within training by famous Tony Robbins here in Birmingham in the UK, and we will probably start with that and talk in general about this whole like celebrity motivational trainings, what they bring, what they don't bring, and how to deal with that, and whatever life brings.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do something.
Yeah. So we usually start with definitions, and I tried to find definition for motivational training. I was somewhat surprised that there is no no Wikipedia page or article for motivational training. I was appalled a little bit. Then I found something on some obscure website, because you can imagine, like Googling for motivational training, you would not find a definition of motivational training. You will find a lot of different motivational trainings, but the definition I found kind of sort of makes sense to me, and it reads as: motivational training puts emphasis on self-motivation techniques constructed on a set of norms followed by the world's best. This allows participants to push themselves to reach goals they have set for themselves. How's that for a definition?
I'm not sure that what I experienced at Tony Robbins event was super 100% correlating to the definition which you just gave. But Tony Robbins event, I think it's like a special kind of, and I'm not sure even it is like motivational, because I also opened Wikipedia, you will be surprised, and read about Tony Robbins just now to prepare for this podcast. And he's a coach. So probably this event is about coaching, and then to use these techniques which we have learned further in our life to boost the life and unleash the power.
Viktoria, can I ask you to define your understanding of coach? Like, because I believe that many people in different cultures could really interpret it in different ways.
That's definitely. And being a psychologist, I always meet many questions between psychology, psychotherapy, psychiatry, coaching, and so on. So I would say that coaching is a bit lightweight methods, approaches based on science, but different kind of science. So scientific base for Tony Robbins event is NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, neuropsychology, neurophysiology, and behaviorism. So these are directions of psychotherapy, kind of on like neurohumoral level of hormones and everything about our body. And he speaks a lot about our body and health and so on, and about behaviorism, which is about stimul and reaction. So what leads to what, and neurolinguistic programming. It's a big scientific department. And then coaching is the approach to gather different techniques and exercises to improve the life out of that. So it's not deeply analyzing the emotions and crying 20 hours with a psychotherapist together about something from your childhood, which is also very valid, yeah. But it's a bit different. So it's to take the exercise, to repeat it, to write down something, and to find the new approach. So coaching would be the lightweight but still powerful way to change the life through following some steps after the exercises, and something you basically define for yourself as a good and positive and fulfilling, meaningful life. Very long definition, I know.
But it works. When I look at the motivational training part, I would like to specify the word training because I think that there are different types of events, and some of them are helpful and useful, but they are focusing on increasing people's awareness about something, like their knowledge, understanding. And as for me, workshops and training sessions are mostly related to higher level things like analysis, evaluation, creation of something. And the trainer or the moderator of such an event focuses on different sorts of activities, not just that you understand and can repeat the algorithm or like answer 16 questions from the checklist, but also you get some feedback, you work on the problem, you look for different solutions. So here, in many cases, when people say motivational training, for me, it's a motivational event or webinar or lecture or happening or something. But I kind of doubt the training term itself. But it might be my professional deformation.
I think that
maybe
has
maybe
merit.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, because I struggled a little bit to define what that thing is. Like looking at that event is probably the great word. Like the event by
Yes.
Tony Robbins would probably make sense, but event is so unspecific, if you know what I'm trying to say. It may be like for me, for someone, life-changing event may be that they narrowly escape being hit by a bus or something like that. That's also event, but that's different kind of event. But you're right, it's very difficult to define. Maybe, Slava, you mentioned the word happening is also something, has something in it. Do you want to participate in our life-changing happening next Sunday in yada, yada, yada?
I'd like to ask Viktoria on her motivation. Like, why did you initially sign up for this event? Just curious.
Okay. The point is, I'm a psychologist. Yeah, I have master's degree, and it's like I graduated already 11 years ago, and I always do something. So I always attend any kind of training. So I completed Gestalt therapy, education, and other additional programs and seminars and online events and so on. And so Tony Robbins was in my list since many years, because a lot of trainers in like all over the world in different cultures and also in like post-Soviet space, actually everywhere, yeah, in Ukraine also, use exercises from Tony Robbins events in their training, like in their programs, online trainings and so on. And then they usually say it. So they usually mention that this is the exercise or modified exercise by Tony Robbins. And then I thought a lot about like, why not to go directly to him and learn from the source, so to say, and not from someone after someone. Yeah. And then he was in my list for many years, also before Corona. And then Corona started, and then before that I was thinking about Singapore and Miami and different programs. It's like usually you have to fly far away and so on. And then I was searching somewhere in Google, and as soon as they started the marketing campaign, I got the not invitation, but the advertisement, in Instagram. And then I thought like, okay, it's time to go because it's in Europe. Yeah, it's in UK. I had to make a visa and so on, but I think it's worth it. So basically my motivation was because I adore all of these techniques and approaches to change the mindset, to break the fear, to start something new, to start to change the country because I did, to change the life, to change the business, to start your own business and so on. So like life changing, which is impossible without mindset changing. That is my motivation to go there.
That's interesting. And did you have any expectations going into, given that you already maybe had a quote unquote second-hand glimpses of techniques and exercises that are going to be offered? Like, did you have any specific expectations going in there? Were those expectations fulfilled?
Yes, because I started to learn about NLP, and there are many, superstitions about NLP that this is to learn how to manipulate other people and so on, which is actually very interesting because in reality it is not. It's like how to manipulate yourself, how to make an agreement with yourself and how to achieve what you want. And I wanted to see like how he applies this knowledge in reality, and I did see it. And fire walking experience is absolutely outstanding experience. To walk on fire, which is not like fake or something, or maybe it's not hot, maybe it's it is, but it's great. And also I wanted to feel and to experience it, how he uses a huge amount of people around, because there were 12,000 people there, how he uses it to multiply the energy, like how it's done on the concert, for example, when you sing all together with this whole crowd of many thousands of people. And this is absolutely different from what you can experience sitting at home, because you don't have those people. So I definitely had my expectations that it will be great, and I will understand in practice what it is, and I will, of course, then use it in my life. And I will also experience this something new, staying and learning something with this amount of people, and using this energy of other people also like multiplying. So I definitely fulfilled it. So if you ask me, I'm already in the sect, so to say. So I'm a fan.
It's interesting that you mentioned that. It is the way I heard it, that it is part of the motivation was to go and see how this thing works, kind of deconstruct and understand the techniques of the trainers and like how all things are set up. Maybe sort of a bit of a professional observation interest kind of in there, not as much as to learn from the event itself, but also from things around it. And I would imagine, Slava, that you maybe are doing similar things, like you run your company which is in learning in development. Do you attend trainings or events organized by others to maybe learn from them as well?
Definitely not like that. From what I understood from the website, it's a 4-day full immersion thing where you do lots of different things. And in my specific case, that's not the best way to learn, because what we do, we go to the sources. Like, because if Tony bases his training on NLP, we will go to the initial research that was there and try find the data, the conclusions, what were the scientists who were working on that, because that's a bit more practical. We should consider that my company's target audience are tech people, and they are usually not that much into the social aspect, but into the digits and data and how it works. So we need validity. And moreover, most of our workshops are online right now due to COVID and then the Russian invasion. So we have to adapt. And I believe that such events are insightful and interesting when you experience them real life, and probably harder when you just watch them on the screen, because then it's like a TV show rather than something.
Well, I have to say that there were, in parallel with these 12,000 people in the huge hall, there were also 25,000 people online in the same time. They were split into some groups with moderators and so on. But but I think that definitely in person, it's absolutely different feeling, especially when you walk on fire, which is impossible at home. Yeah, but still.
Possible, but please don't try it at home.
Biweeklycast does not recommend organizing firewalking events at home. Speaking of this whole idea of like huge crowd of people partaking in such event, do you like what kind of role does it play? Because one thing that kind of stuck with me in a bit of an earlier discussion we had, like we talked about how we define coach, and to me coach often means someone who works with you on a somewhat not necessarily intimate level. Maybe the psychologist or psychiatrist would be that ultimate level of intimacy in kind of human to human interaction, but still closer. Coach would be closer to you than someone else, and that closeness stems from the fact that you have direct interaction between the two of you. Maybe coach could work with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, but with 5,000, 12,000, like how does it work? Does it yeah, where is the coaching element in that? How do you think?
There were several sessions, like one-on-one sessions, but with the whole group. So usually it's done also in a group psychotherapy when you sit around, 20 or 30 people sit in the circle, and then someone sits in the middle and they discuss, and then the whole group participates in that. So it was approximately like that. So it was one-on-one, but the whole crowd was there. And that was also interesting because he was like asking everyone or the whole group like to think about what we just discussed, like part of theory, so to say, about our basic needs, for example, or something, and then how we can apply this knowledge here and now in this request of the person that something doesn't work in my life, I have anxiety or whatever, yeah. And then he resolves this issue or gives some, not to say advice, but explanation why, and then how further could it be without giving you do this and that, yeah, because it's just wrong to say that you have to do this or that, but to give this resolution or whatever his opinion about the whole situation. And it is interesting to see how he works and how it works with the whole group, because you participate there actively. But definitely, if he could work with everyone, or at least with half of the group, it would be, or with me personally, right? It would be an absolutely different situation. But like knowing who Tony Robbins is, like he's like multi-millionaire and close to billionaire. It's good that he overall organizes these events, and that you can experience them and participate, because otherwise, I mean, he doesn't need it. Yeah, it's not for money reason. Yeah, he already has his not followers, but next trainers whom they grow up enough so that they can substitute him, right? and they fulfill a part of the program. Yeah, it's not full 4 days of Tony Robbins. So there are other guys who are there, but it's still great to see him. So knowing his age, he's not 25 anymore. Yeah, and knowing his position in life, he's doing it more like a mission than like something else. But answering the question, yes, definitely. If you want to experience it yourself, you need a different format to be there yourself, sitting in the circle or one-on-one, and not inside the event.
If I ask you to put the balance on what would be the ratio of entertainment and education for you in this during this event, like would you qualify it? Because basically you can reflect on pretty much any experience. You can go to the cinema and get some insights or ideas. You can talk to your friends and learn from that. You can learn from many things. But the way people design the event, it should either steer you or teach you. What would you say the balance? Because I believe it was both educational and entertaining, but it's really hard to say from the program what was the ratio there.
So, it's difficult to answer regarding this entertainment part, because I think that the part of entertainment is actually the education, because what he shows that you are jumping there a lot. Yeah, dancing, jumping. So he turns on the music. There are people on the stage jumping, and you jump together with them, like really, really many times. And he jumps himself like 1,000 jumps a day. Yeah, because it increases dopamine and so on. So this kind of entertainment part is actually your education. If you collect all of this, entertainment, it's probably quite enough, and this overall atmosphere. And you can also say that walking on fire is kind of entertainment, because it's not learning by the book, right? But it's kind of physical experience through the body, which also is a kind of learning, but different learning. If so I have, for those who are watching us on YouTube, could see my book, which is like 103 pages, with something pre-printed, and then you also write it, so which is nice. You have the educational part. The theory itself is maybe, 30%. Then additional 30% is storytelling around this theory, to sell it to you, so that you understand it better through emotions, through some stories, like how to make it. And then the rest is like experience on physical and emotional level, communication with others and so on, which is like not a pure knowledge by itself, but it's something which you can say then it changes your life. Not like drastically from yesterday to tomorrow, but in the long time perspective, you can say it, yes, it changed me.
It's interesting that you mentioned, Vita, the how many thousand or something jumps, and I guess
Yes.
to Slava's question, is it
looks like disco,
was it expensive disco for 12,000 people? I mean, what I was
actually
what I was trying to say, and you also mentioned this a little bit, that it is there to set up for you to be able to absorb the ideas that Tony or whoever else speaking is trying to convey. And I guess on my very personal level and a very personal scale, I do know that when I exercise or I go for running, it clears up my mind and I can come up with better, or at least not too bad of ideas to explore further. And I wonder if there they might be using like similar trick to set up our physiological state.
Yes, definitely.
To sell on those ideas. But then with that, and also connecting back to that mob kind of situation with 12,000 people supposedly doing the same thing, I know that for myself, I generally try to avoid this kind of situations, because I I want to be cautious of being influenced by mob or by just that instinct to follow the lead of the mob, and I stop thinking rationally and making my own decisions. And I wonder how how that dynamics played out in the event, and what you think about this, and like, what have you experienced anything?
Definitely you have it. Yeah. And he asks a lot of questions, because otherwise your attention, of course, is spread to somewhere. And then he's like, who can follow? Say I. And then people, I. And then if you at that moment check your smartphone or something, you automatically say I, even though you didn't follow it, And then you catch yourself on, oh, this is interesting, because I definitely follow the crowd and all of this non-conformistic, like, no, I'm not, I'm special. I can think by my own very, neurocortex, and I'm always cautious. No. It works anyways independently. So we are on all animals, and you follow. And yeah, definitely when everyone jumps, and people go there more than once. And I understand why, because you receive such a dose of dopamine that you are like so motivated. You want to go there. You want to change everything in your life of others, the whole world, and so on. And then, of course, this dose then drops, decreases. And then you want to receive the new dose, and people go there. And then they already actually know the program, because the program is the same, or plus minus the same. Yeah. But there are people who travel like from one city to another, from one continent to another, to experience it again and again. And then they already know, now it will be this or that. That's very interesting to see it. But many people are there like for the first time, as I was also. But yes, there are some drawbacks. So you have to hug people, for example, and give 5. So if you don't like it, if you don't like physical contact with other people, because there is, and I can imagine that there are many people who actually don't like it. So this format then is not for you. You can read a book by Tony Robbins or whatever. He has a lot of different materials. Or experience it online, maybe, if you want. But still then, because it's different. So he's like, give 5 to 5 people around you, and then sit on the on your chair, or hug people around you, or there is even massage. Choose like 3 people, not choose, but you are standing next to each other anyway. So there are many people, and then 3 people, and then you make massage to each other. So be aware that it is there. If you're not ready for that, then you're not ready for that, then you don't go there. So it's very special. But this is all because of hormones, because when someone touches you, then it's probably oxytocin, which goes to the blood, and so on. So it's like because of this, not because he's something. But people there are special, If you ask them to hug you by whatever reason, they will hug you. Because
kind of dangerous metaphor with the dose of endorphins and people who travel after Tony city by city.
That's true. But this, if you think about our neurohumoral system and all of these neuromediators, dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin, all of this, these are our internal drugs, actually. Drugs which we produce by ourselves, but by our body, and then we can regulate them. And when you have like depression, it's like, okay, cortisol probably is high, and so on. So you can regulate it. Also something by eating, like serotonin, because you eat then bananas, chocolate, or whatever. Probably not chocolate, but choose something else, up to you. But still, so you can regulate it, and he pays a lot of attention on it, how to regulate yourself so that you have more energy to do something. Then, of course, you need a focus and plan and strategy, what you do and how. But if you don't have energy to do it, if you're like, oh, the sky is gray and the life is bad, then, it's end of everything. You will not be productive just because of this presupposition that, then you have to start it. And that's why you jump, that's why you TDD. And he says, like, drink water. There is a lot of water for free, staying there around, just to fulfill.
That's interesting. I also read in some of the kind of reports or reviews of that event, that whoever was reporting said that quite a few people around them were the ones who were there not for the first time. And I kind of, it got me thinking like, so like, what is the thing that you come there for? Would it be the knowledge or just the experience and emotional boost that you come for? And it seems that, Vita, you're suggesting that quite a few people come for the emotional boost, and that would be like scrolling through in Instagram Reels or whatever it is, which gives you a like tiny boost of whatever it is. I'm not super fluid on hormones, and I'm cautious of kind of mixing things up there. But here you go to an event like this, it gives you like bigger boost of whatever it is, and then you want to come back for the same thing. Interesting.
Yeah, and also I have to say that atmosphere there is a special, because like people who come there are special, or I don't know why, but altogether the program and the topics which you discuss and the people, then you feel very much connected to those people. So you usually share some stories with each other, like turn to the left, to the right, whatever, choose a partner, and then discover something, limited beliefs, whatever, something bad happened or good happened. And you go through many things, like something which limits you, which drops you down, and show it in the physical, and make the sound, people are crying and so on. So it's like, and then you experience it all together, and people are very supportive. If you are staying, and I was staying, crying like completely without possibility, like on this level, and it was not only me, men were crying around him, and like people were screaming and so on. And then you experience all together, and you like turn your head, and someone is staying there and willing to hug you and support you. This is very different. This atmosphere is very different, because you usually don't find it around. It's not our usual experience, until you are, I don't know, fall down consciousness without any possibility, to breathe or something. Then someone will come to you, maybe to save your life. But otherwise, people don't come, even if you are crying somewhere in the subway or in the central, I don't know, Platz, nobody, or street, nobody will come to you saying, oh, maybe something happened in your life. And those people are maybe because it's like not a special people, but because of this atmosphere around, and that emotions are important, we are important, this is our personality, we have to support each other. And he shares a lot of that we have to give. It's not only you receive and consume and so on, and our world is a lot about consumption, but also about giving. And he gives a lot of food to people and so on. And then you are in different atmosphere, that this is about good values, to share with others, to support each other. And then you come there, this is another hormones, these are more relatedness, like family, like, and so on, oxytocin, like how to support each other. And then you receive all together. So it's a boost of energy on different levels, on super motivational, you can do it, like, but then why do you do it? To achieve and to be super achiever? Maybe not, maybe you need to build this intimidative relationship and family or something, and then people are there saying like, I want to have children, but it's too early or too late or too something. And these discussions are very close discussions, which you usually don't have even in your work environment, not necessarily even with the friends. And then you, like, on a day one, you see this person for the first time in your life, and this person shares something so important, so close with you, and supports you when you share something back. So it's like very special time. And maybe the same people meet, if they meet in different atmosphere or in different environment, they would not share it. Yeah, but because of this event and the whole topic around that we are important in emotions and what we want to achieve in this life and have, and how we want to feel in our life and so on, and how we have to support each other. This is so special that you want to just have it more. If you manage to build it around you, maybe you don't need the next dose because you have it at home. Yeah, but if you don't, then people go there.
This definition or explanation of how people interacted kind of reminded me of a Ukrainian program named Happiness by, I think, Alla Klimenko was the trainer there. And as I was listening to your description of like that you can open up, you can deep dive into yourself, you can interact with others, one of the things that kind of worries me in such things is whether people are equipped to get back to the normal life after an event. Because what happened with this specific Ukrainian case, which is definitely not designed by Tony, but it's a different kind of thing, but very similar attitude, and people would come over and over to get this boost of emotions and support from this community again. But it kind of reinforced the feeling that what I feel at home is not okay, because I'm not as happy, energized, motivated or something. I don't get that kind of support. And the only way I can get this support is not from the colleagues, not from the therapist, not from my family, but just in this like community or group. And I believe they closed the program because the intention was to teach people how to be happier, but the result was not really the casual everyday happiness, but those injections or boosts. And do you feel that Tony's program is different in this case, that you are equipped to re-energize yourself, to reuse these things, or you just think that maybe it's better to plan the next event?
Are you planning coming to the next?
No, I'm actually not planning. Even though it will be in Germany like next year, because they plan in advance. It will be in Cologne, in Köln. But no, I don't plan. But I understand what you say, and it usually happens with actual most of the programs, also with psychotherapy, because after Gestalt therapy, like you have this 3 or 4 days, and then you go out and you're like, oh, this world, disappoints me. But yeah, it happens. But still, he gives a lot of like exercises or something which we wrote for ourselves, like how I will go from the demotivation and ugly feelings to beautiful feelings. Yeah, ugly is not his term, beautiful feelings is his term. So to be open and motivated and energized, yeah, and we write down for ourselves, we wrote it, that it's a physical activity, it's a dancing, like for me, yeah, personally. It's also singing, because I adore sing. And this is like some small achievement or something, because it's a small dose of dopamine, then you receive something, yeah, I can do this, then I can do something else also. So there are some elements, and I hope that overall you have someone in your life who can support you in this or another way. And we all understand that, like after the concert, and actually after 2 weeks I flew to Imagine Dragons in Rome. That was a beautiful concert and so on. And there we had, I don't know, 50 or 70,000 people, honestly, I don't know. But you sing the same song together, and you still have this feeling of unity. Yeah, it's an absolutely different event, but still you have this feeling of unity. And then you think, okay, I have my people who also like Imagine Dragons, who also think a lot about feelings and emotions and about something valuable for me personally. And then if I can find my people, people with the same values in different contexts, in context of music or work, like agile environment in IT and so on, then okay, maybe they are not in Tony Robbins event, but there are my people everywhere they are spread. And then, well, at least I found it for myself, and that's why I don't go to the next event, or I don't plan yet. There are some other events by him. It's not only the only one. Other events about long life learning and about business and so on and so on. Maybe I will go there further. And maybe, because I was thinking about it, to join the Platinum Partners program, which is $85,000 a year. Yeah, it's a special partners, a special community. Yeah, but it's not necessarily maybe for future, maybe. Yeah, but so far I found like if I in different contexts can see the people who value what I see and who can support me in that context, then it's enough for me, and I not necessarily need a new dose of something over firewalking and everything.
It's interesting, Vita, that you mentioned that concert by Imagine Dragons. Somehow recently in some of the business kind of analytics podcasts and kind of publications, I read and heard about this idea that the communal experiences, like the thing where a lot of people come together or somehow made to experience the same thing all at the same time, has something special to it. Like if, let's say, if I listen to a song on my commute to the office, and you listen to the same song when you're doing something different, that's all nice and good. We can enjoy the song, but something else, something special would happen if we come together to a concert and enjoy the same song together, knowing that each of us are enjoying the same thing at the same time. And that they used an example of very super incredibly successful US tour by Taylor Swift, where she organized a whole bunch of concerts throughout the US, and kind of, I guess, millions of people attended that, and kind of everyone was raving and enjoying it. So definitely there is something special, right, in those communal experiences that we have. And also I think it's very important, Slava, what you mentioned, the most valuable thing probably would be to find a way to translate that into our day-to-day lives, into our day-to-day habits and rituals and experiences, to make sure that day-to-day also kind of go on a decent level of happiness, rather than going through misery from one high-stakes event to another high-stakes event to another high-stakes event. I would also imagine that maybe football fans experience something similar. That might be one of the reasons why they go to the stadium every other week or whatever it is, to join like-minded people and partake in this special communal experience.
Have you ever gone there to football?
I think I went. I'm not a huge fan, and I never, even in the days when I was a bit of a fan of football in my kind of uni days, I was not a stadium goer because I don't know, whatever. I am still a bit afraid of kind of crowds and mobs, but
too many people.
Too many people, and I thought that it can be a dangerous situation, especially in the football stadium with fans, and stories about fans of one team going against the others and stuff like that. But here in the UK, I went to a game when Ukraine was playing Sweden in Euro 2020, and then there was a charity game by Ukraine versus England in Wembley recently. I went there with my daughter, and I super enjoyed the experience and atmosphere. And I also kind of learned that it is not as dangerous as it might seem, because typically, though, at least in the UK, those would be very well organized events. But there, I would say that maybe circling back a little bit to what, Slava, you asked in the beginning about the divide between emotional and kind of learning or rational side of events. I would say that watching a football game on the TV versus being at the stadium definitely has different different balance of emotion versus understanding of the game. Like if you are at the stadium, you do not have repeats and you have so much less opportunities to actually analyze the game and so on. Like you are overwhelmed by emotional experience of it. Whereas if you're watching on the TV, you can watch replays, you can look up like stats on the players and stuff like that, which makes it a more rational intake of the same event.
Yes, I really like your metaphor with musical concerts. I could say that back in my teenage, I was a rock concert goer, and now I'm more like a jazz club for 50 people thing, but still brings a lot of fun and pleasure. And Victoria, can I ask whether you could estimate, has your day-to-day routine changed after these tricks and techniques and tools and things you've learned? If you just remember yourself a year ago and now, like, has this program made great impact, decent impact, some impact, no impact?
Decent impact. Not that I changed completely everything upside down, but the day number 4, after all of this fireworking and so on, and crying in the corner and then smiling and so on and laughing, day number 4 was purely about the health and how to support and so on. And I can share the name of one specific Harvard professor. He's David Sinclair. Maybe we can leave the link or something. Who was talking a lot about. He was talking a lot about how to live longer life, and because he's investigating it for many years, and including what to eat and what to not eat, and intermittent fasting and so on. So I started to try it and also change the diet. Not that I completely fully follow it, but I did a big change. And also I cannot make this 20 hours and then 4 eating and 20 break. This is too much for me. But at least something like 14 hours without eating or 16 hours without eating, this I can manage. And this actually changes my daily routine, how I eat, when I eat, and how I live the life. And also I stopped blaming myself for dancing or singing at home, when you have to do something, but you just use the time kind of wrongly. But actually I realized that it's not wrongly, it's for me and for my body, and then I can do it and so on. So I kind of changed my daily routine, not like super dramatically, but I made the shift because I understand that this is needed for my body and for my mindset. And then in the end, I will be more productive if I now have this break than the other way around, blaming that you have to work hard 24 hours and so on, and then, die. So it doesn't help at all. So I think it actually changed me. And also you give some promises to yourself, like I will do this no matter what, I will reach it, I will do something. It's not like reach that you need millions of money or something, but maybe it's about harmony, maybe it's about your body, maybe it's about your family or something, yeah. But the promise that, okay, I will do everything and I will succeed and I will stay and celebrate in the way I celebrate it now. So we were in a condition to stand and to make the move, and that, I have it. So this visualization of I already have it, and so on. And then you give the promise, and then you're like, okay, I leave and I do everything I can to be there and to celebrate in a way I already did. So that, well, yes, life has changed. To say that completely drastically, absolutely, and it's not something that it was before. No, I still on the same job. Yeah, I still eat and walk and so on. But something inside me changed. Yeah, and I'm moving to the direction. And some achievements or changes, they take more time than we would like to. Yeah, some victories take more time than we would like. Yeah, not 2-3 weeks as promised initially, but but we will be there.
And that was actually part of the answer for my follow-up thing. I wanted to firstly ask about change of behavior and lifestyle. And the second part was about the way of thinking. Like, do you notice that your decision-making process has somehow changed? The priorities shifted, or the way you think? Because the way you feel is definitely different because of the experience you've had and the changes you implemented. What about the way you think? Can you estimate the changes there?
The point is, I'm working on the way I think, like forever, super often and a lot. I have like 300 hours of personal psychotherapy experience, 300 hours, yeah, and so on. So I change the way I think a lot, kind of almost every day, yeah. So I do something to do it. But after this program, to take like that apart, the change is mostly to go from the position of victim to the position I'm the owner of my life, because we can start in this victim position and something can happen to us, yeah, when we cannot control it and so on. This is life, of course. And still, if we stuck in this position that, oh, I'm a victim, I cannot do anything, I cannot control everything, or I will try to control everything around, and if something goes wrong, like the weather is wrong or whatever, then I will kill everyone and everything and myself, so the idea is, and I started to notice when I do it, that, of course, okay, I will do everything, I will sacrifice my time or something to, and then I'm like, whoa, stop it, yeah. So maybe we just think now we might answer no to this proposition because of time for ourselves or whatever, to stop this, to go out from the layer of a victim and I will sacrifice something for someone instead of finding the compromise or whatever. And I think for me personally, this is the biggest change. Also to allow myself to rest sometimes, because it also builds something, and especially if you do it with friends, that it's still helpful for your networking, yeah, and your support and so on, but it's much more relaxing than again learning something, joining another startup accelerator or going to another MBA or and I have countless examples, so that would be the change.
Dima, are you bought in? Like, would you go?
I can
sell it well enough.
I can totally relate to the transformations and ideas, because I feel like I also have a little bit of that itch that there isn't a single moment to be wasted. Everything has to have purpose, and like we have to aim higher and then do our best to get there. And I kind of this idea of kind of being able to step out of that mode and allow yourself a bit of rest and recharge and recuperation time is something that resonates with me very, very well. I don't think I'm sold on going to such event, because I can imagine myself sort of being frustrated by maybe seeing some of the, I would not say, of course, that kind of dirty tricks, but kind of a little bit of emotional trickery going on. I imagine myself kind of noticing it and being frustrated that I have to follow that, and that I may be forced to follow it because of the 1,200 of people surrounding me there, which might make me uncomfortable and unhappy. But I think that's definitely interesting experience. What I take from this is that those communal experiences that we referred to several times here are important. And now instead I'm thinking maybe I should go to a big concert, which would not be maybe too dissimilar to it would be different than the 3-day motivational event, or however we call it, but can give the same kind of boost with less potential risks for kind of my psyche or something like that.
But I understand what you mean, and I think concert is a great idea, always.
So did you already buy your ticket to this event in Cologne next year?
Cologne next year.
Well, I would summarize that that's definitely not my cup of tea. And from this conversation, I can understand that that's not my type of events. I'm a different type of learner and interactor. So firstly, the physical contact is disturbing. Then the intensity of things, because I'm really sensitive to noises. And when things are getting loud, I get just overwhelmed quite quickly. And when I'm in the place with 1,000 people, I can hold on like for 2-3 hours, and then I need a break and some silence. So probably not the best investment. But what I am motivated is to look at the sources and the way that what kind of activities are integrated there and what is the back science. Because I believe that Tony is one of the few motivational coaches out there who actually invested time into the research and the backstories behind it. I think it's a personal choice for pretty much anyone, and you could just assess whether it's helpful or not, but definitely worth researching. And especially if you know what your personal goal is, like why you're coming to such kind of an event. Because if not, then probably some smaller steps like concert plus therapy plus video of Tony Robbins events could also give you at least a general perception. What are your reactions and what kind of impact then they make?
I actually definitely agree that psychotherapy or psychologist or whatsoever, I mean, private sessions cannot be substituted by such event. So you can add it on top, yeah, but you cannot substitute, because definitely you don't dive that deeply and you don't do that much. You work with fears and so on, but it will not be enough, yeah, to go through something, especially if it was something traumatic, and it takes time. And private is the most important.
We can do a little bit of an interesting maybe test, which it may seem to me like we have Vita who went to the event, and we have Slava who said that he would not go to on real life event like this because of the different factors already mentioned. But I think they Vita, you also mentioned that they have an online version of that, so like the same event can be joined from everywhere in the world online via Zoom or whatever that is. So the questions to you guys, like, Vita, would you recommend anyone doing that? And so would you join this event online? Would you consider joining event like this online without the physical noises and touches and all those kind of dirty people around you?
That's not what I said, but
no, yeah, it's totally that's my exaggeration, 100%. So, Vita, would you recommend after attending kind of real life event, what would you say? What would be your estimation of
if you have this
online?
limitation that you don't want to be touched by someone and you don't want to touch someone, and of course it's 50 hours per 4 days, 50 hours. You like from the early morning, you come there, it starts at 8 or 8:30 and it ends at 10 or 11 or whatever, with some small breaks and so on. But you don't do anything else. So it's a fully immersive experience, yeah. You are there with other people, and like 12,000, it's a lot, yeah. And people who sit at home, they usually sit like with friends, because there are cameras, you can see them, they participate with cameras, and then you can see how they sit and how they also jump at home and celebrate something at home. So if you want to experience it at home because you don't want to be with other people because you don't like it, I definitely can recommend it, because it's a special occasion, yeah. And if you like I just love people, and I'm very social. That's why I like this in-person experience more. And people who I remember the guys there who he was online before during Corona, and then he came in person. He told in person it's absolutely different, and I like it much more, and so on. But this is his experience because he likes physical experience there with real people and so on and so on. But it's definitely different. So if you exactly don't like this part, then go online. If you don't like overall idea of exercises and jumping, and you are negative, because there is a part of people who says that it's only too much marketing and no outcome and so on. So if you are you start this with negative assumptions, then of course the result will be negative. So don't go there. If you don't like it initially, just don't go there, because the result will be bad. And paying lots of money, it's actually not cheap at all. And then to confirm your initial assumption, indeed that was bad, because we don't like to be wrong, right? So if you're already decided something, then we will go for it. So then don't go at all. If you are neutral or maybe somehow positive that let's try that, then definitely go for it.
And Dima, would you, by the way?
I think at least I might consider this maybe as an sort of anthropological exercise.
Mm-hmm.
As a study of how these things work, but also maybe for the drive of it. I don't know. I would, at least I would consider. I would not say definite no, but I'm not sure how likely I am to join.
Mm-hmm.
And you?
For me, it's still a hard pass. I think that I can't fully get this full immersion from digital things. I've tried a few online courses that were full day, and it's difficult. I did my best. I took the full screen. I got the best video and audio channels I could. But it kind of reminded me Dima's Aspen Zoom experience, which is a great thing to have. But after knowing that there is a live version of it, you probably don't want to go for a digital version, because it's not completely the same thing. It's not bonding. It's a different kind of activity. Here, I probably can just think of a metaphor or analogy to Burning Man event, because I think it's another full immersion thing with bonding community and people. But for me, it gives a lot of freedom. You can choose where you want to go, what kind of experience you'd like to get, what kind of issues you're working on. And based on the things that, if I have to invest a week or 50 hours into something, that would be probably something more customizable, because I don't have a request for that right now. And I would probably be one of those negative expectors. People who wouldn't appreciate it. So not my cup of tea, which is totally fine. And we don't judge people who decide to go or not to go or hesitate.
Definitely.
So I think that's probably it for today's episode. I think we shared a little bit of takeaways, right? Or do we want to get to one definite takeaway from this conversation or from this event, maybe for Vita?
Let's sum up for the audience. I could start that about 5 years ago, I would be too skeptical. I had a lot of superstition and bias about such things, and this conversation was insightful, because when you actually give up the bias and you sincerely get curious about people's experience, you can discover a different kind of thing. And I'm really grateful for all the answers and experiences Viktoria shared, because they made my perception of Tony Robbins and his work less biased.
That's cool. Thank you.
Same here. Right? I'm super glad for this conversation and kind of the re-emphasis of the idea of communal experiences. Maybe me being not. I would not say that I'm a shy person, but I'm definitely more an introvert than an extrovert. And when I manage to find kind of my people, my tribe, and hang out with them, whatever it is, I do feel energized after that. And this conversation is one more reminder for me, maybe to be more intentional about this, and instead of leaving this to a chance when like something happens and I participate in something and I feel great about that, maybe I can be more proactive and seek out events that are likely to give me that boost of energy and join and participate in them. So thanks for that.
Thank you too for inviting me. And now thinking about the community activities, I think it goes to old times when we were sitting together around the fire, after or next to our cave and so on. And this is like very, very old experience somewhere in our deep parts of the brain, and that's why we feel like closeness with other people who share this experience with us. And I think I will also search for more experience for myself. And now after talking with you guys, I'm also motivated to go to gym more often. And just talking about sport and all of these activities, I think I have to be more consistent in that. But thank you so much for the invitation. It was great to share my experience, to discuss it with you.
Some great takeaways all around. So we'll see you soon. Have a good week.
Maybe amazing or awesome or beautiful week, Dima. Why just
outstanding?
Awesome. See you soon, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.